The ruler is DMO73 here, bringing you a showdown to see who can Olympian better between myself on Helen 2 versus Paul piloting Ragnarok. Let's go ahead and see who can throw the Tempest harder and jump right in. Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to pre-order upcoming Force of Will sets, ccgprime.com for singles and supplies, cardodoko.com for those rulers in the international market looking for product, as well as our guest lecturer members Vite Ramen and Full Grammar Alchemist. Class is in session. Okay, rulers, we are jumping in, and I'm joined by Paul. Hi, Paul.
What's jambling, Jables?
We are here. We're bringing you the feature match commentary together. Don't forget to get your pre-orders in for Journey to Travitra. It's coming out in a week and a half. Can you believe that? It's crazy.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll get there if we're on the road to Valmardia too.
Yeah, for sure. So we have an Olympian off. Essentially, who can Olympians better? We're using the new ATD card that is reunited with Helen, as well as singleton rulers. So Paul over here rocking out Ragnarok. Paul, what made you decide to go for Ragnarok Olympians?
Well, a little bit of a dare, right? So the idea is Ragnarok is a singleton ruler, which means he can use the new Zeus's Tempest card. And use the mastery feature of that and everything. So that's really helpful. And the alternative is to use one of the two Helen rulers, which is what you've done. You've done Helen too.
Yeah.
And Ragnarok is just a fun ruler. It's
and gets to
powerful things you can do.
Draw two cards like you've done already here in the first turn.
Draw two cards right off the bat, and then he gets bonus effects too if you have the will available to you. So. Yeah. Here's what Jeremy's doing right off the bat here. So we're just getting the whole engine.
Yeah, we're exploring. We hit number 12. I reveal 3 here. I should only reveal 2. The green one is the one that reveals 3. And so I catch it. I'm like, oh, this one was supposed to reveal 2. So the Helen is essentially the way this deck works is that you're using Helen to kind of set up as the stall portion of the end game for getting into the Olympians, because when she judgments, as long as you have the right setup, it is very hard to kill the player playing Helen, especially if you're playing a Resonator heavy focused version of a deck, which is Ragnarok tends to be very Resonator driven. So so we're just getting exploring. Dorian coming down here. We're going to see a lot of different cards out of Paul's list, being a singleton list.
Yeah, the thing that's so great about singleton lists like this is it really forces you to focus on what the function of the card is, and that is a really good lesson and heuristic to build. So for instance here, like Dorian is just a 1 mana threat that can just build over time. And so that buys you time and says to your opponent, hey, you got to deal with this, or else this thing is just going to run shot. And then meanwhile, plan B happens, which is just the Olympian package.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going in here with an end of turn Arthur Space-Time Knight. This is going to draw me 2 and put a 1 back on top. This is designed to get cards that I want to explore out of my hand, which is why you see me stack a card on top, and then we go into the one that makes it so this, while it's revealed from outside the game, he would not be able to attack my Helen once she judgments. And currently, once she flips, she'll have the ability where every Resonator, unless they're attacking Helen, doesn't have stats. So that's a pretty good little lockout portion. Now comes my first Olympian, Hestia. We're going to burn 5 and then attempt to use Hestia to play Zeus's Divine Tempest. And do we see a response from Paul? Paul's going to go ahead and Persephone it back to our hand. So we'll have to wait until another turn to do that. We say, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. The benefit that Jeremy has here is you can play multiple of that card, and that's not necessarily something I'm thinking at the time because I'm like very much in singleton brain mode. But the ability to have multiple of those in your deck is really good.
Yeah, Especially in this mirror where, I get multiple copies and you only get 1. So if I answer the 1, suddenly that's not great for you because you can answer mine and I can just get the engine right back up. Aphrodite coming down here, getting to gain 2,000 life and drawing a card. It's nice to see the Olympians kind of come back and find their home in some cool decks. They're a very interesting archetype. And we see your Zeus's Divine Tempest come down here. I don't have a way to stop that right now. I say that's fine. That's going to get to happen.
This card always seems really fair when I cast it, if I'm being totally honest. It never feels like it's something I require, but it's just this nice little bonus that gives me more reach into the deck. I can find things, I can kind of get the engine going. It never feels broken, though, right. I will say that.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and explore at the end of your turn. We hit another revealing 2, which is nice. That was revealing the one that has Eternal. It gives us Eternal. So again, another nice little setup for when she's flipped. And then we're going to try to use Scrivener here before recovery. I think this might have been actually a bit of a mistake to go for the Regaining All Lost Knowledge. I think I could have gone for another exploration and done the God's Art of Helen here before recovery to really set myself up. But decided to go for Regaining All This Knowledge. And the reason why I say it's kind of a mistake is because I don't even end up upkeeping the Oath. Like, I just like cast it to gain 2 life and call it a day and just leave it there for later.
Yeah, I was definitely a little confused as to why you didn't re-up it when
Yeah.
you could have, but I was like, all right, well, that's a choice. That card is really helpful. That's Forgotten Discoveries, I believe. It's one of the cards that came out with Utsune's. It just helps you to buy something back and set something up out of your hand. So if I get an Olympian in hand, I can just RFG it and still keep my Union 7 while recycling, and just a helpful card to have.
Yeah, for sure. So we did see an interaction there where I tried to play my Divine Tempest. You responded by activating your Divine Tempest, and I mirrored the activation. So it's like, nope, this is going to get to be here now. We're probably going to see a Judgment here, maybe off of the God's Art, or I might just wait. Setting it up now might be worth the effort, is the thought process here. Just going to go ahead and use Divine Tempest here on my turn, since it's safe to do so, to go ahead and say, you know what? I've answered the Divine Tempest. Why don't I answer it permanently? And I find the Apollon to remove it from the game. So feels pretty comfortable there. And it also sets me up for being able to play the other one that I have in my hand because, you know, keeping the Olympian package online for more mastery.
Yeah. One of the things that's really helpful about Forgotten Discoveries is in the event that I'm not going to do it this game. And we didn't catch this, right? Because I casually cannot solarize the Shiba.
Yes, we missed that for sure. Helen does have that, hey, bro, can't solarize.
I didn't think to use it here, but you can use Forgotten Discoveries to actually buy something back from the RFG. So there was a world where I could have bought back the Zeus's Tempest, but, you know, yeah. We
just did it this way instead. So Dorian's going to get to swing in here. I say, yeah, I'm going to take the 9, mainly because I'm waiting to see if you're going to try to pay for something with Dorian, and then I forget that he has costs 2 to get that second counter on him. So I do only end up taking a little bit less damage here because of Regaining All Lost Knowledge, reducing the attack of the Aphrodite. So I'm like, hey, 100 less. That's great. We're probably going to do God's Art here at the end of Paul's turn, paying 2 to go ahead and get Helen out onto the field. I just forget to pay the life on screen, but that's okay. I updated the life total on the overtracker. You know, Moonshade does cost life to produce will.
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah, so now Helen is at this position where she has Eternal. I can pay 1 to recover her once per turn, and Resonators don't have any attack as long as she is not battling, and he can't fight me. Now, that being said, we kind of ruled it in the way of the +1/+1 counters applying after that timestamp, which might actually be incorrect, but that's how we played for this match. So all of those Resonators currently have 300 attack. It's kind of similar to like having a stat neg applied to you and then having +1/+1 counters, so you get to kind of still have stats, was how we were thinking in the logic of it. But if we're wrong, the comments will tell us. Taking advantage of you not having much mana here, we're going to go for Hera. We got to start ripping that hand apart here, man.
And what a hand. That is very solid.
Yeah.
A really solid draw spell. You get rid of my other win conditions. And I have a Hestia, so I'm not sure what my Union is at this point, but it's something like Union
3. Oh, like you're Union 2. You're Union 2 right now. Yep.
You threaten to make another Tempest here. That seems pretty good.
Yes, for sure. And you've already used your your Ragnarok ability to get rid of the first one. So that means that this one's probably going to stick around for a bit. And once again, we can just kind of go right into the aggression of searching. We need to buy ourselves some time, so we're going to get Aphrodite and gain ourselves some life back. There is a weakness here of the Dorian line where, because you can still have stats, like because of the +1/+1 counters, you could give him the second counter and then kill me, like do the half my life. But so I'm trying to be mindful of that for sure in this instance. Dark Alice
and then I
comes
discard
down
the
here.
Hestia, so
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like, okay, well, I mean that exists, but that is a for each forgotten creature. That is the fun spell that I put in this deck. It just it's an oath that just mills a whole bunch of cards from the top of your deck each turn, and then you can selectively put up to X resonators back into your deck. So you can leave your Olympians, and just put everything else back just for a little bit of recycling. And if you can start casting things once you get to the proper oath level. You can do some pretty crazy stuff.
So Shiva goes to attack the Hera, and I'm like, yeah, okay. She deals 3. And and then we realize, oh, right, doesn't have any attack. So just the +1/+1 counters. Can't use Shiva to make all of your stuff even bigger. If you want to kill the Hera, you're going to have to swing the Dorian at it, which I'm fine with. It's like, hey, it's great. Get that Dorian.
It's been a while since I played Helen 2 on the channel, so I'm having to okay, how do I make this work? So doing a lot of math here. You see a Light Lightning in my hand on my side. That's going to come up a little bit later in this match, just because of how Union 7 operates now. It doesn't count stuff that's revealed outside the game.
Yeah, so or expelled stuff.
Or expelled stuff, so that's going to be kind of relevant, keeping Jeremy off of Union 7 himself.
Oh, Brazuki comes down here.
Another one of my really fun draw spells. Y'all love this card. So good in these kinds of decks. I'm not sure what I removed there. It might have been...
I think that might be Water Servant.
It kind of looks like Mirror. I think it's.
It might actually be Mirror. Yeah, you might have gotten rid of the one Mirror, which I'm okay with. We'll take those.
I think in my head, I'm like, well, you've already done the God's Art, so I don't know how relevant this card is for the current game setup. If you play another Tempest, it's like it's over anyway, but you're already ahead of me, so I'm trying to look for things to snap back in.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's kind of what my head is in.
And
which
Magog.
is why I play Magog.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Good old Magog.
Just to filter through things and maybe even race and get my own stuff quick. I have Bane.
So yeah, it deals at least 100 damage. So yeah, that's okay. The Bane helps there. These are just some crowded boards.
Put Magog in the field spell zone, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Before recovery, we're going to go ahead and use the pitch ability of Arthur because we have a J ruler. So this is draw 3 and put 2 back on top. This is just more dig. I mean, it's kind of like, let's see even further ahead. Do have Tempest online here, working towards that Union count. Have a
1, 2, 3, 4. Do you need 4 at this point?
Going to go ahead and go for the Persephone. Persephone here, I want to try to get rid of your Aphrodite so I can start burning your face with the Tempest. Because right now she's taking the damage. It draws me a card. Would have loved to shuffle before playing the Persephone, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers.
That's the other helpful thing about Tempest is it just kind of puts your opponent on a clock with that Pantheon trigger. At the end of the turn, you count your Union, and that's how much damage is actually done. And that's why I'm going to take, looks like, what, 6 here?
Play the Aphrodite. And this is where we're going towards Union 7, and that's that light lighting that you talk about. So in response to the cast of the Aphrodite, which would have put us at Union 7, you're going to go ahead and... Well, technically I am at Union 7, but it's not because she's on the chase. It's just nothing's happening that involves Union 7. Lightning
I'm trying to prevent the 4,000 draw 2 at this point.
4,000 life draw 2 would be pretty good for me right now. Think about using Tempest here to try to respond, but Light Lightning has Untouchable, so it really doesn't do anything. So we're like, you know what? We're still going to gain 2,000 and draw a card. I think we're going to save Tempest for something maybe a little bit more relevant, especially because this is our turn and we're down to 1 will, and we just don't want to tap out against Ragnarok. It's just never a good idea to tap out against Rag, because then sometimes you just die. There's a whole bunch of different cards in there, and I don't know what they are. So...
That's part of the charm of this deck is you never know what your opponent's going to toss in there. You might know the main strategy, but like, how are they choosing to play that strat?
Right.
Yeah, so that's always why this deck is super fun.
Dorian here now does have that second counter. Timestamp wise, again, I think I'm pretty safe from Dorian, thankfully, because, Dorian either has to hit me, which will then get redirected to Aphrodite and she'll die, or he has to attack Aphrodite, who's not recovered. So even though Dorian has that, like, bump up ability right now, I'm pretty safe from it. Now, if you have spot removal for the Aphrodite and then Dorian comes in, I do think that becomes a 9/9 here. Does timestamp later than the Helen at this point, so I do think you're actually big, but we have a light lightning, so we're like, it's fine. we'll answer the Dorian this way. Good old Long Tony coming down here to save the day.
Yeah. Let's convert my guy. See some additional cards, and this is gonna I think this is actually gonna get me to, like, that's my Union 5 right there.
And so thankfully Lightning chooses it Resolution, so now that the Dorian's gone, we can get rid of the Obrazuki too, which is great.
Yeah, that was a strong play in retrospect. At the end of the day, it was like, whoa, it's pretty darn good. Just totally forgetting how Light Lightning works. It does not target.
Chooses it Resolution. Your unit count is certainly high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I do think, is in grave. So getting close to the limit, though. I did Magna and Lenneth, I think, is still in deck. And Athena being in graveyard is something we certainly like, because she's one of the pseudo quick cast Olympians, which we don't appreciate.
Yeah, I did not play a lot of Zeus Olympians when that was a deck. I played a lot of IU Olympians just at locals to have fun. Apollo is here, just getting rid of the Tempest, and then I think I don't think we're at Union 7, but we're really close.
Yeah, you're at 6 here. So, pretty dangerous spot for me to be in.
Yeah, we're very much in the end game, I think, at this point.
I'm also at Union 6, but I have no Olympian engine to dig right now, which is a little unfortunate. I kind of have to maybe rely on Helen a little bit here. We've kind of stalled out a bit on that engine piece.
What's so funny about this matchup is the Olympian engine has outs to itself in so many different ways. So I think that's what makes this matchup really fun, and honestly a really good back and forth for so long. I think this was a 54-minute match.
It's very long. So this was even longer than that,
long
because we're currently watching at 140% speed, and we're at the 17 and we're at the 17-minute mark. So
first ragstone of the game.
We finally got there on turn 7. We got it. Hades comes down here. That's your Union 7's going to try to blow up all of our stones, and I don't like it. It's not a fan. It's also going to try to kill my Helen, which is super not a great position anyway. We start to use Hindered Magic Duel here. We're just going to try to draw and gain some life to kind of buffer ourselves a little bit. Like, hey, maybe we can draw into something. Like, we could draw into our Persephone. We could try to draw into some activate ability cancels, like an Ares would be great here, because Ares could cancel the automatic trigger and then recover a bunch of stones, because, again, Union 7. I also... I'm just at this position where I need to try to dig for something. You see, I have my own Hades. That doesn't do anything. I could cast the Magna Lenneth here to try to draw some more cards and be at Union 7. I'd actually draw 4 cards. I completely forgot that Magna Lenneth gets quick cast when you have 6. That would have been great. That would have been nice. Could have drawn 4 cards off of Magna Lenneth and given... the Eternal really wouldn't have mattered, because Hades is just going to try to kill her, but it would drop me 4 cards deeper and try to dig into something like, again, Ares, to be able to cancel the automatic trigger.
Which, today years old when I learned that, so so that's good to know. Athena and Magna Lenneth have that quick cast effect.
Yeah, they
have
pseudo quick cast. Yeah,
that.
when you're at Union 6. When you're at Union 6, they both have like pseudo quick cast, which then makes them Union 7, as therefore, you get to do some really crazy stuff with them.
The crown stone here is
putting
incredibly
in so
helpful.
much work. Just like, I would really love to cancel that Hades, and cannot. That guy's just.
Oh wait, I can't target that. Oh crap. Yeah, like realizing I had Groundstone and Hades in hand, I was like, wait a minute. I think this is the way that I beat this unstoppable J Ruler.
Yeah. Mirror to dig just to try to see if I could find something, which in retrospect, as you'll see in a little bit, was a mistake to try to dig. Should not have done that. Should have saved that mirror for something else. Because the big thing is, we're both going to be losing all of our stones. He hasn't done anything to try to save his stone base yet. This is me still trying to be like, okay, I can work my way out of this. There is a Helen witch that we then realized would be really good here, at least for part of it. So we're just like, oh, we got to find a way to reveal it, and we can do that by casting the blue quick cast 1-drop guy from hand, Runic Witchcraft number 3, and this lets me reveal 3 more, which therefore gets me to the ability that I need here, which is great. Yeah. So we're certainly losing all of our stones. We're certainly losing all of our stones here. It's just a matter of, can we keep Helen alive? That's the big trick. Because if we can keep Helen alive, even though we lost all of our stones, at least this turn, then like that feels pretty good, right? Because then it's like still like, well, we're both starting over at 0 stones. We can kind of work from there and kind of work our way back. And I'm also almost at Union 7. I've got Magna and Lenneth in hand. Like, feels pretty good. So we let the cast of Hades resolve. Now, because we did all that in response to the cast of Hades. Hades is now targeting Helen to try to destroy her. You're going to try to activate to recover 3 stones. And we go, now that you've spent that will, we're going to try to use Helen to cancel the automatic ability of Hades to blow up Helen. And then we'll mirror the recovery of your stones. And this is what I'm saying, where I would have 1 more will open and another mirror in hand if I hadn't burned that mirror. And you'll see in a moment that actually comes back, I think, to actually cost me this match. Because I think if I had that other mirror in hand, I actually would have been okay. But you'll see that as we go through here. So Lumi is going to come down here and get you your life back that you spent for the turn, dig you into another card, and then we're both going to be reset back to 0 stones. Because the thing is, once we get past this turn, Helen will have Eternal, and so Hades can't even kill her. That being said, you are at Union 7 as well, so I actually don't even think that matters either, because I think the timestamps...
You'll see it here.
The Apollo gives plus 1,000 as of now, and I think is a later timestamp, so I do think your board is actually buffed here.
Well, also because I have Union 7, I just tap Hades and kill your Helen, because she doesn't actually have...
She has Eternal.
She still has Eternal?
She'll have Eternal starting the next turn because you don't currently have Swiftness on the Hades. And so she has the Trinity ability that gives her Eternal. But I'm still in not a great spot because I think Apollon is still buffing your board. So it doesn't actually matter. This is still not a great spot for me to be in. So
before recovery, we do a Magog just to see like what I can find. And
Hellfire
I know at this point I have... Hellfire will do it. I know that I'm like, I have all rack stones at this point. Like, I'm aware of that. So if I blow up all my stones, okay, I know I still have Omni stones left. Hellfire to pop.
Deal 1,000 damage to her and remove her Eternal. Doesn't kill her. And you still can't attack her. But then you're like, oh wait, Hades just kills her. And I go, yeah, I don't have Eternal anymore. Do I have a way to stop it? Nope. And so rather than even try to play it out, I'm like, do I have anything? Does it matter? Hyman and Han. And then we're just going to scoop it up and go into game 2.
Because I definitely have more than 6,000 on board anyway.
Given when they all get buffed and Apollo's plus 1,000 for every single one of them. Absolutely. Yeah, the board is just gone. Because even if I do Trinity to try to save myself from being destroyed, she doesn't have Trinity anymore, which means your stuff still has all of its attack. So it's like, oh, well, then I'm dead either way. We've learned our lesson of maybe we need to get some more cards underneath her so that we're not just only being really able to activate her once. So I do the ability, start to do the ability, and then I go, wait a minute, it doesn't matter. So I'll just scoop it up and we can go to game 2.
Yeah. Which I know this is probably the only game I'm going to get off of him, so I feel pretty great about that. And I'm like, cool. I'm going to proceed to lose from here on, and that's fine.
I do think in that match,
yeah.
I don't think it matters whether or not, thinking about the timestamp wise, if we're right in that Apollon would have still applied his plus 1,000 after the board net, like the stats going to 0 because of Helen. I don't think me saving that mirror for the Hellfire does matter then, because at that point in time, you just swing with everything. You had 6 bodies on board. That's over 6,000 damage. Like, it's fine. But if they are still statted to 0, then me saving that mirror actually mattered, because I could stop the Hellfire and still be in a position where you can't kill me. And then I just kind of claw my way back at that point in time, and I'm in a pretty good spot. We're exploring, still whiffing, a lot of shuffling in the Helen deck as we go into game 2. We're going to try to end of turn flash in a Runic Witchcraft number 3. We're saying, man, can we get 3 guys revealed? And then we're like, okay, cool. Those guys are revealed. That's what we wanted. See if maybe we could burn a mirror or a Ferris spell out of your hand there. Get to reveal 2 more, which feels great. Including the one that lets us tap to add more cards underneath her and the Cancel Witch. And this time around, actually, I make the conscious choice to not reveal the one that gives me Eternal, because that means that you can't Hellfire me.
Yeah. I also can't, at that point, I can't do any sort of... Well, I didn't realize this at the time, but I can't Epiphanic Priest. I also can't. There's no other symbol skills in the deck, so she doesn't get any other symbol skills other than Eternal. So my Light Lightning actually becomes useless too.
Yeah, very hard
even
to
with Eternal.
Weirdly, very hard to kill her when she doesn't have Eternal.
Very strange.
I try to go for a Light Lightning here because I'm like, oh yeah, remove something. It doesn't. No, there's nothing with barrier.
I don't have barrier yet.
Yeah, you don't have barrier yet. It doesn't get rid of Eternal things, just barrier things. We did that pre-recovery Artemis primarily just to get a free, quote-unquote, free guy on board. We do eat the mirror for the first Tempest, which is fine at that point in time.
That felt like a very strong play. Even just doing it and tapping out to do it, it felt very strong to just, hey, let's just make that happen.
Yeah, for sure.
This feels like a good use of it. You see Hyprisia in there for you Olympians folks out there. You know how Hyprisia is like an absolute powerhouse in this style of deck.
Putting Poseidon to bring my Artemis back in my hand to use again later. That's a handy tool. That's a mystery tool we'll use later. No, I do question, how when you've been playing Rag, how relevant has the Void coin felt? Has it felt useful, or is it just kind of unfortunate?
It actually is really useful because it turns all of your skills down 1, which is really helpful. In the sense that your 1 costs are now free.
Sure.
So it's actually really, really helpful just to have that little extra mana. You don't have to tap out quite so much, which is nice. Because that's the one thing about this deck that you maybe use 1 or 2 tools. You don't use all of them over the course of a game anymore. But now the copy a chant is in play, right? Because that costs 2. And that's pretty expensive on an activate ability that can just be stopped by Lorade or something.
Yeah, for sure.
That's really, really helpful. But
do you see that draw 2 happening right there? Persephone's gonna pop, draw a card. Gonna have to take a little bit more damage from the Robometa. We say, that's fine. That's okay.
I'm also very consciously not adding the second power counter. I'm not pretending that Light Lightning doesn't exist.
Yeah, you just don't want to, don't want to give yourself that barrier.
I just don't really need to get in there. Although I think you're going to Light Lightning this Persephone at some point.
Down comes your Artemis, and we say, that's a nice Artemis. I got one of those too. While you're tapped
Artemis
out.
Your Artemis.
Yeah, we'll both have Artemises out here. And then we will go ahead and use the Light Lightning to get rid of the Persephone. right there. So before you can recover your stones, you say, let's take advantage and get our value off of it. Now, I do have Persephone in hand here. I could... Oh, no, I'm exploring for the... Here. I have to choose between exploring for Persephone or exploring for Ares. Like, one of them has to go on the bottom, and it's like, oof, which of those do I have to put?
Yeah.
Now, this time we are going to go ahead and try to do the before recovery God's Art of Helen to try to see if we can get our judgment out at the end of this turn, which would be great. And down comes your Ares. So we're going to get that canceled, which means we're probably not going to be flipping Helen this game, which also means that we are just done exploring for now. There's really no point to explore. It just eats 2 cards out of our deck potentially every single time. And we're like, nah, that's fine. Now that you're tapped out, Divine Tempest, it's coming in. It's going to start doing its work. We got to rebuild our hand slowly but surely. We got to gain some life back. Probably going to see a pitch here almost immediately. Yep, another Light Lightning getting pitched to go for... I'm going to go ahead and say probably Aphrodite.
Searching noises.
Just trying to see what Olympians I still have left and what might be stacked underneath the Helen because I can't check it once I send it down there. But yeah, Aphrodite's going to come down here, replenish our life, get us to draw a card.
I was fairly impressed this whole set of games that despite the fact that you were tucking cards and expelling cards, you were still finding yourself like in a pretty decent scenario all throughout their matches because like just not being able to go to Union 7 was a big deterrent for me.
So I try to play Hades here. I don't have the darkness for it. And I go, wait a minute. Actually, never mind. Got my tri-stones mixed up there. So we'll just play the Aphrodite and say, you know what, let's gain another 2,000 and draw another card. And then we'll pass the turn there.
Yeah. I'm actually being intentionally a little bit more conservative because I'm trying to get a lot of value off of reacting to your plays and sort of punishing those. And that does not end up being the right play because I'm only at Union
2.
Union 2.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of Olympians in hand, and part of me wonders if I just need to be a little bit more aggressive.
So Shiva comes down here and does not get to blow anything. She deals damage to everything, but doesn't get to blow anything up. We try to block the Shiva going at the Aphrodite with the Arthur. Okay, now I got Fair Spell. Once again, you're talking about being reactive, right? That sets you up to be able to hit the Afro, pump up the board, kill the Artemis that's on the board, and go in for some damage. So all of that life gain that I was kind of doing gets kind of eaten pretty quickly. And you're threatening a pretty strong board here. I have to find some way to answer it pretty quickly. Thankfully, I do have this wonderful little card called Hindered Magic Duel in my hand. It's a very helpful card.
Correct.
We're going to go ahead and pitch for Regaining All Lost Knowledge because we can cast it from Graveyard again with Scrivener, so it's actually just a +1 to do it this way. I think this is actually a little bit of a mistake to go for it now because I'm probably not playing the card now. I could... Athena's reveal ability is burn something 6, gain 6. You can't take any damage for the rest of your turn. So if I search for it on the end of your turn or the beginning of your turn, I can still pop. I can still hit you for 6, which is relevant, gain 6, and make it so you can't hit me for the rest of the turn, right? So that gets me good value. I just think I'm being maybe a little bit too aggressive here, but I'm saying, wait, you're tapped out. You can do a little bit of even more setup here. Use Poseidon to bounce the guy back to my hand, replay the Poseidon, and then just re-mastery it. So kind of reset it in such a way. And then I go, let's just keep going anyway.
Union 7.
Really just digging pretty hard here. I don't think I'm at Union 7 quite yet, but it does help accelerate the deck quite a bit. We're going to go ahead and put, we were at Union 5 here, so we needed those 5+1/+1 counters on Poseidon to draw 2. My hand was just so empty that I just really needed to draw. And thankfully, the nice part about it is the fact that your field is entirely green, so a Hindered Magic Duel, really helpful when your entire board is green.
You did that, and I was like, oh, look at that. I guess that is true.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. A little disappointing, yes.
She's going to pass, and we'll burn him for 5. Although I think I missed the trigger. Maybe I don't.
Whenever you did that, whenever you're like, I'm just going to pass my turn, I definitely am like, that's it? Like, really? Like, he did so much that turn, and that's all he did?
Yeah.
It kind of blows me away. And so I use the Ragnarok effect to get rid of our additions, yeah?
Yes, for sure. Yep. And then you're like, oh, I'll get another +1/+1 counter on my whole board by using Shiva. We got 12 defense on this one drop. So
he big.
He is chonky. You do go in
Max
with
armor.
that Artemis, and we go, thanks, hindered magic duel. We're gonna try to draw some cards. I don't even think we try to gain life here. I think we're just trying to draw 3, expel 1. We get the Artemis off the board, and none of your other stuff can attack this turn. We draw into another hindered, which is amazing. Just truly incredible. And we have the Artemis as well, or the Athena in hand as well. So we're very quickly approaching critical mass to be able to just end this game, which is nice. And your union count is so low. Yeah. You can see the 2 cards in your graveyard are the Farer spell you use and the Artemis that I just killed. Everything else is just sat in your hand.
Yeah, and as you can see, if you're peering through my hand, there's a lot of Olympians in there that I'm just not utilizing. And I realized going into game 3 that this is definitely a mistaken play style, because like, even if I just play the Apollo, I'm at Union 3, which represents a lot more pressure, even if he doesn't get rid of anything. But I'm trying to react, and I think that that's actually incorrect, especially when you're able to put on this much pressure.
So before recovery, we're going to try to use Scrivener just to kind of cycle this up. We can make things a little bit smaller, a little bit of a buff for ourselves. And again, we're not judgmenting Helen here, so going for the Oath at this point in time is kind of the quote-unquote backup win con. Because if you get to Union 7 with Aphrodite, who's in graveyard, so it might be a little bit hard, but we can use Engraved Rune to reset the deck if we need to. You only need to cast for Regaining All Lost Knowledge 5 times to win the game, which is much easier. Much easier. Like, we just cast it twice, so we're already 2/5 of the way there. Gonna go ahead and go for a Hera. We say that hand has not been casting stuff. I would like to know what is in that hand, please, because you've just been sitting on a whole lot of do nothing, and so I'm a little bit scared. Fossil Girl comes down, gonna cancel it and draw a card, and I go, well, you know, I got rid of a card, kinda. So we're okay with that. But they're sitting at Union 6, and we're just going to pass.
I draw into Oporozuki here, which feels really solid. For me, at least, because I'm like, oh, I get to see more cards. I'm also just not seeing any of my Olympians.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm at Union, like, in my head, I'm like, I'm technically at Union 2 with the ability to get to Union 4. Not super helpful. Also keep in mind that if you're shouting at the screen like recover your stones, you can't. Ragnarok says you can only do stuff in the main phase. So.
And so here we find the lethal line, although you and I catch it like 2 seconds from now, is that you cast Priscia here, and I go in response, I'll quick cast in Magna Leneth. This puts us to Union 7, so now with Hera, you are locked to having played 1 spell per turn, and you have played your 1 spell per turn. So this entire line is going to resolve of me getting to put +1/+1 counters on and everything else, and then we forget and then catch very immediately, like almost as soon as you recover. Oh yeah, Magna Leneth's other enter ability is just you die, because it deals damage to you equal to the attack of every Olympian I have, which is 6 + 6 + 13, so that's 25, and so you die. And we catch it in like 2 seconds. Like, you call stone here, and then we go, oh wait, no, you're dead, none of this happens. And we move into game 3. So you'll see us catch it here in a second, but Magna and Leneth plus the Hera line is the lockout taking advantage, and it does push us into a game 3, which is exactly kind of what I was going for. Like, when the Helen wasn't able to judgment, I was like, I just have to go for a kill off of an Olympian, and Hera felt like the way to set that up. Scoop it up and take it to game 3. When your opponent can't react to the lethal because they've already played something, turns out you win. Crazy.
So going into game 3, I'm like, okay, I definitely need to be a little bit more aggressive. I was a little too conservative there. So let me see what I can do. I see a Ragstone off the top, which feels really great. Because like now everything is just available to me. And you just immediately go into your normal style of play here.
I'm just like, yep, let's just explore. You just got to do the thing. Continue to try to sculpt. The nice part about the Helen, weirdly enough, the nice part about the Helen element here is that because you stack a card on the bottom of your deck, it's very easy to trim like cards that just aren't going to be good, right? Like, so it's weird because when you see the Olympians, you're like, well, I gotta keep these in the deck. But if you see stuff like I already have a copy of for regaining all lost knowledge in my hand, I don't need another one of those in the deck, so I'll just bottom that. Like, it is a weird kind of deck thinning, which is nice. So Hestia is going to come down here. We get to reveal 2. I do believe I forget. No, I do pick up the deck to shuffle. You have to shuffle every time you explore with Helen. Draw for turn.
You see a Wind Servant of Ragnarok in my hand, which is a huge power card. So I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, how do I utilize this? You respond to my Hestia with your Hestia.
Burning your Hestia for 5 to then try to use her ability to destroy it. And you flash in a Lorite to stop it. I'm like, I think that's okay. Yeah, it's fine. I was wondering if you were going to block the Hestia with the Lorite, and you say, no, I'm just going to take the 2 damage from the attack, which is interesting.
Yeah, I don't mind 2 damage. There's part of me that sees like Lorite as a more healthy body, especially if I dump on Apollo later in the game and Lorite just sits there as like a non-threatening presence. All of a sudden he's an 11/11.
That's true.
And I'm like, well, I've seen over the course of this game too that I can just play Aphrodite and be fine. So I feel okay going a little fast and loose with my life.
Feeling pretty comfortable here going into probably a before recovery Helen Judgment. We have pretty much the entire setup here. All we need to do is just ship cards to bottom. So we go ahead and eat the mirror because we want to keep the Hestia or the Ares live for later and try to do that God's Art of Helen here to get her judgmented. You respond with Wind Servant, which again is that power line of let's just open up 3 stones here. And I go, I can't let that happen. So we got to eat the mirror. This feels pretty good, though, because you're fully tapped, and so now we're going to be able to go into your turn with 3 Will open and Judgmented Helen, who, once again, doesn't have Eternal, has the stack ability to be able to stack more cards, has the 0 attack, can recover herself, and has the cancel ability active because of Trinity. So this feels like kind of the perfect setup for what we wanted for Helen, which feels very comfortable.
I'm also counting my mirrors now. So I'm like, okay, he's played 2 mirrors. He's gotten rid of a Robometa, and he's also gotten rid of
Wind Servant.
Whatever that one drop was. Wind Servant. So I'm like, okay, so some of these things are just like some of these things are gone, but I'm kind of accepting that. Because part of me recognizes you don't have Eternal.
This is the funny part. We go Light Lightning. Okay, she doesn't have any symbol skills. Okay, Epiphatic Priests. Okay, she doesn't have Eternal or Barrier.
Doesn't have any symbol skills.
Okay, how do we kill this Helen?
Yeah, so I'm definitely scrambling here because I'm realizing, she doesn't have Eternal, which is a little unfortunate. But that being said, I'm like, okay, well, I recognize I can maybe go for a Hestia line here, burn him out that way now that the Helen's flipped. And so I'm trying to figure, is there a way I can get Hestia back in my hand? So I'm doing all kinds of math here. So I'm just going to start digging. I'm like, all right, I'll just try and go for Union 7 then.
Yeah. One thing I am thinking about now in Helen, and I'll have to go back and double check, is the way Helen's worded is that it gains the Trinity abilities of all resonators with Trinity. So that makes me wonder if, now that I'm thinking about it, does she need Trinity to have those abilities live, or can she just do them? So we'll have to double check and ask us in the comments. We played as if she had to have Trinity live, but the way she's actually printed makes me wonder if that's actually true. She might just be permanently active with those abilities, which would have actually changed quite a bit in this match,
yes,
because then she would have had 0 attack. Your stuff would have had 0 attack all the time. So we'll double check with that, and maybe you can correct us in the comments. Helen's a complicated ruler, but this list is actually really fun. We're going to go ahead and use in your end step that regaining all lost knowledge from hand thanks to Scrivener, just to make your Oberazuki smaller and gain some life. Might as well use the will while we had it. And while we could, let's go ahead and stack a couple more cards underneath her. Again, for that reason of we played as if she needs to keep Trinity active. And then still during your turn, we're going to go ahead and recover her so that she's recovered going into my turn just in case. During our main phase, we do regaining all lost knowledge again. We can call stone. More cards stacked underneath her. Probably going to see a pay 1 to recover her here. So we can have recovery opened on your turn a couple of times. Nope. Just going to go ahead and pass it over to you. Say, hey.
I think that's Tyler reading Shiva, because like I was considering it too. Like maybe I can do Shiva here and like kill the Helen that way, thinking that she's a 10-10. She's a 10-12.
Yep. She survives. She lives beyond the Shiva. We got a quick cast Olympian in our hand, and we got Tempest. So we're kind of in a position in the Helen list of we're trying to just wait to have a moment where we can cast in this Apollon at the end step so that we can try to do Zeus's Tempest on our turn. Because if we get the Zeus's Tempest line with how well situated our Helen is right now, we feel pretty comfortable that we'll be able to close it out.
Yeah. I am threatening the Helen here with the Oberazuki existing. I don't even know
but you can't attack
recognize
her,
that. But I can't attack her
because of the addition. So she's pretty safe even then. Now we get into a pretty cool exchange. You pay 3 here to try to expel all J rulers, and if you can't destroy them. I respond by paying 1 to recover her. You let that happen. We tap and remove 3 cards to try to cancel that activate ability. Down comes Bastet. And you say, okay, we'll bounce my Lorite back to my hand, recast the Lorite, and we go, in response to the Lorite, which of the irrevocable curses Trinity ability, copy Helen's activate ability cancel to re-cancel your Ragnarok ability. Which is great.
Fully tapping me out.
Fully tapping you out, which is awesome. This fully just, you essentially paid 5 will to do nothing, and we love that. That's a great feeling for us.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It's a terrible feeling for me. At that point, I think this is the exchange that actually loses me the game.
I do think so. I think the tempo here swings pretty hard in my favor after this point, because I'm like, you just truly don't have an out to the Helen at this point outside of like exactly Hades. But we can kind of set ourselves up pretty nicely. We're going to stack a couple cards underneath. We're getting close to for gaining all lost knowledge, being able to win us the game. Just need like one more good solid turn to be able to try to set up. I'm only at Union 1, so that is a consideration, is that I kind of have to accelerate to Union 7.
Yeah, but you have 2 other win conditions in the deck, and both of them are online.
Yep.
So I'm just going to try and see more cards.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, if I can get to Union 7, I can find the Hades again. Maybe we're in a situation in which things are going to be okay. Maybe we're in that place.
Trying to dig, seeing a lot of cards, saying, "Hey, what do we do?" Dark, a lot of dig in your hand, not a lot of pressure in your hand. The weird thing is, even the Magnaleneth isn't great here because it deals damage equal to the attack of all your 7 new Olympians to me, and all of them have 0 attack. So, whoops. So trying to think about how big of a board can we get to, try to find the Apollon would be great here to be able to pump up the board through it. You do have 1,000 fractures in hand. You have the Briseus Big Show.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely contemplating. Okay, so I can certainly, I have the Crown Stone, which is great, but you can still target my abilities.
Yes.
If I cast a Hades. So you've just been stockpiling, and at this point I'm like, this hasn't come up before, so I don't know what to do. And I think it was the reason I think that turn won you the game is because it doesn't put me on tilt, but it kind of says, okay, your plan didn't work, so what else do you have?
Right.
So I don't even know what to look for.
We see that end of
so
turn Apollo
in
response to, like, before you clean up. Magna and Lenneth gets to go to graveyard here. We have our Olympian. We're recasting the Oath. This is our 4th cast. So starting at our next cast, if we're ever at Union 7 with an Aphrodite on field, when that card is resolved, I win.
Oh, look.
Divine Lightning or Divine Tempest comes down here. Fractured comes down to stop it. And I make a misplay here, I think, a little bit on my end. I cast, it's not like terrible, but I cast the Persephone here to try to answer your Obrazuki. I think that was a mistake. I actually do think I should have used the Persephone on the Hestia. I think it was a bigger threat than the Oboe, given that you can't attack me. So, like, it's just not doing that much. And then I tried to use Persephone for another Tempest, but I know you have the Fractured Engrave, so you could just cast it with Remnant. So that was a little bit of a mistake, I think, on my end.
I think that's the bigger threat, because, like, I would argue if you are, especially now that you have the knowledge that I just have a bunch of draw in my hand, like, just recognizing that I can churn through my deck really quickly, like, because here's the Dark Alice, right? If I can somehow put the Aborizuki back in my hand with, like, a Poseidon, all of a sudden, like, we're gonna start developing like a lot of pressure all of a sudden, by just churning through the deck. So I don't necessarily hate that idea, but, you know, just saying, like, okay, now I have to use other cards without engaging my win condition. It's little hard here.
And we are at Union 4. I mean, the beauty of the Tempests getting answered is that they are still technically Union. They're new 12 Olympians, so, you know, they count. So good old big old storm counting towards our 7 count. And then we did recover Helen during our turn here, going into your turn, so that we have the ability to recover during your turn. This just gives us more points of interaction with Helen, which is really nice.
Yeah, you can see the finger tapping there. I'm like, I have no clue what to do here. So, like, I guess, you know, once we do the deck profiles for this feature match, I can maybe think of, like, oh, you know, maybe this is a way for us to have figured that out. I'm definitely still like, where is my Hades? I need my Hades.
Down comes the replica Shiva.
I see an opportunity to get over, just because of how we've ruled it, just buff my whole board.
Yep.
But then, of course, your Helen.
We're going to fight about it. So I can't, I'm not going to stop the cast. I have no way to cancel the cast of the Replicant Shiva, but I can mess with the activate ability with Helen. So we're probably going to see this here trying to cancel her automatic trigger.
Yeah, so this feels like a huge waste. And this is the second time I've done this, where I've just used a whole bunch of will and just gotten nothing for it. So part of me is thinking, like, well, maybe I can get him to use all of that material so that way I can, like, you know, do something else here.
Yep.
Part of me was thinking, like, well, the Shiva might work. And halfway through that thought, I'm like, well, maybe getting him to use 3 materials is worth it.
So you start to go to recover 4 stones here, and I think that's probably what you're talking about, of like, can I get Jeremy to maybe eat 4 of his 3 more of his material? And I'm like, nah, that's okay. Recover 3 stones.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do with it? Like, like, you haven't been doing anything with your will up to this point anyway, so having 4 more of it, sure, you got it.
Yeah. And it's like, I think it's the next turn here, you see the Aphrodite.
I think I'm pretty close, yeah.
Yeah.
We can dig for it pretty quickly. You know, we have a Magna and Lenneth, I think, in hand, so we're pretty comfortable being able to, like, give ourselves some more power to draw some more cards, be it Unions 5. We do see that free Artemis come down. It's a free body. Makes sense to me.
We're at Union 4. That's Union 5.
Hera, we get, okay, that's fine. See, there's the Magna Lenneth, like I said. Now, the reason why we don't lightning the Hera here is because we're pretty sure you're going to take it, and if I do use it, you're going to take the Magna Lenneth, and I don't want you to take the Magna Lenneth because I need to draw cards. So we're like, it's okay. So Hera's going to come down here. We top deck another lightning because, you know, we're just good like that.
Yeah. If you didn't, there's a world where I pursue a win condition where it says you can do the oath, but then you don't get to play Aphrodite.
Right. So Zero's Light Lightning comes down here is going to be probably pretty heavily aimed at the Hera. The reason why is because he's getting close to Union, and I do not want to be locked out of the game like I did to him in game 2. So we want to get rid of the Hera. That being said, the Persephone also kind of poses a weird threat. So we're at our oath. Now, every single time I cast that oath from here on out is lethal. So as long as I get Union 7 Aphrodite on board, which is just really relevant. I'm going to go ahead and pay to recover during my turn so that we're set up for his turn. And down's going to come that Magna Leneth. Make her a little bit even bigger. Draw some more cards. We're going to do a little bit of a fight here. I think maybe you were wondering about where I was going to put the 5+1/+1 counters. You use a awakened Lumia here, and we get a little bit confused about where exactly this Lumia is getting cast, and then you clarify that it's before Magna Leneth even hits the field. So
yeah, I think this is a waste here too, unfortunately.
Because it doesn't actually take my Union count down. I thought you were going to use it on the Magna Leneth, and you said, no, I'm actually using it before Magna Leneth even comes in. And you use it to eat the Apollon, which I think is interesting. Because it's still counting towards my Union count. I wasn't going to buff him up anyway, and I'm very clearly, I think, in this deck, not trying to beat you to death. So the plus 1,000 from the Apollon doesn't really do that much.
I think here I'm thinking like, oh crap, he's at Union 7, so if I get rid of the Apollo, at least he can't just like murder me.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're going to get the +10/+10, and then all of those symbol skills. But then you just find the Aphrodite and it's over. Right?
Yeah, so I do make a misplay here. This is a truly overextension. I miscount the fact that I'm actually only at Union 6, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm only at Union 5. This is a misplay for me, 100%. So I'm one will short of going for the Scrivener lethal this turn, and I overused this Zeus's Tempest in a way that could have actually been bad for me. If I had grabbed the Poseidon, I could have recycled it and still been in a pretty good spot. I got really greedy there with overextension, and I'll talk about it as we go into your turn about how, if you had seen the line, it actually would have like thrown the game, getting that Ares to hand and essentially wasting the Ares cancel reveal. So you go for Priscia here before recovery. I say that's fine. You're going to try to dig. I'm in a position where right now I can cancel 2 things with Hera or with Helen, and also have potentially 3 things with Helen. So I'm like, okay, that feels pretty comfortable, right? So I can kind of wait and see what you do and try to get you to either, if you don't do anything, then I win. And if you do something, I can then punish and try to win the game that way. And this is why I'm saying it was actually an error, because I could have been at 5 potential cancels during your turn if I had just saved the Ares in deck instead of searching for it proactively. You go for the Divine Tempest. I say that's fine. You're clearly trying to go for an Olympian line, but I would rather cancel the activate of the Zeus's Divine Tempest.
Yeah, I think at this point I'm just trying to get to the right union. I think I have a Poseidon in hand, and I'm trying to figure out if there's a way I can get that Flashing Smile on the top of my deck. Because I realize, oh wait, that is one of the many ways that I can just get rid of your whole field right here, including the Helen.
Right.
Because she doesn't have Eternal. So like that's kind of what these games have been about for me. It's like, oh, I'm discovering I have all of these tools still, and I'm still learning the deck. So recognizing, oh, okay, so if I had to replay this game back, there are several tools I still have available, even though you don't have Eternal.
Yes.
And I'm like desperately trying to figure out, how do I get this card? I'm trying to see if I can target things in my graveyard. I'm doing all kinds of math here. To just try and figure out what I can do. And also try and fight through an Ares. Because ironically, like even though that Ares play was like really bad, it actually screws me in this moment.
Yeah, it does kind of say like, hey, you have to be really cautious, right? Because you are sitting at, I've had 3 open will here, so I am representing Aries plus something. You go for a Mamu here. If I cancel the Mamu, you have too much will here for me to be comfortable with you going for the Mamu line. Because like you could have something to be able to follow it up, and then it's just like the buyback is going to be crazy. You go for the Oborozuki. I let that resolve as well. I think this is also an error in my part, that I should not have let this Oborozuki's automatic cancel evolve, because you specifically hit 2 Olympians here, and that was why I was like, oh crap, like he would have had to hit exactly 2 Olympians off of that Oborozuki to be able to dig in, and you did, and so down comes the Hades again. We need our stones at this point, so we can't cancel the cast of the Hades, but we have to fight over something. And so we need to stop our stones being destroyed, and we need to make you... This is why I'm saying if I had answered the Hestia earlier, this Hades, instead of the Oborozuki, like, I probably would have been better off, because like the Oborozuki would still be on field. He wouldn't have even been able to dig in this environment. But also the Hades wouldn't have swiftness, which is relevant because you're now at Union 7. So we're going to use Ares to cancel the stone destruction portion. And then we can use the Helen to cancel the destroying of Helen. Because your board is still not super big here.
You initially try and cancel the Hades with the Ares, and then I say like, oh hey, Crown Stone. We do some canceling here. You recover to try and cancel something here.
We cancel the... I'm trying to cancel destruction of Helen, and then I'm trying to cancel the stone destruction. So you swing at my face in the air with Oborozuki. You get to gain some life back. And this is where I make another misplay here. So technically what's on board, I don't die until I make one mistake here that I want to talk about that you could have actually capitalized and pushed the game. And that is blocking this Persephone. Blocking this Persephone, actually, if we had realized it, wins you the game. Because I blocked. Persephone's Union 7 abilities are active in the graveyard. Which means that as soon as I have that Persephone die, as opposed to just taking the hit from the Persephone, her +6/+6 and destroy a thing triggers are now activatable. And so you could have used Persephone to pop like your Hades that already attacked and my Magna Lenneth, and then bumped your board one of your guys +6 and just swung in for lethal. So thankfully neither of us, thankfully for me, you don't catch that, and thankfully for and thankfully for you getting into this mess that I misplay with the Ares. So it gets to this weird like, man, we could have been what it could have been. So we end up going where you just go ahead and swing and clear my board instead of going for face like you could have. Everyone is currently getting that slight board bump from the +1/+1 counters, but thankfully we maintain our oath, gain a little bit of life back, and we do a little bit of a weird recycle here in a roundabout way to get to Union 7 with Aphrodite and cast the oath. And the reason why this works is the oath says that if the effect of the oath gains you 2,000 life or more, you win the game. And Aphrodite says when you gain that much life, you gain double. So even though the oath would technically usually only give me 1,000 life, it's being replaced and gaining me 2,000 life, and so I win the game. So it accelerates the oath in a real cool way to kind of win the game that way. The other thing that I could have also, talking back to, right, is if I had saved the Zeus's light lane on your turn to do the Athena that was still in hand, like then you couldn't have killed me, right? It's because you wouldn't have been able to do damage, and so then that whole turn becomes way different as well, because we're much more comfortable, and then we probably still stall out the game and win through the backwards oath anyway. So just a few little misplays, but a very cool match for both of us.
Yeah, just remember, kids, do math, and then maybe you win games.
Yep. We'll see you next time. Class dismissed.
Bye.